It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview Lindsay Hoffler, who is the owner of Road Hockey Developmental Group. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Brandon. Thanks for having me.
Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to start a hockey developmental business?
Yeah, at the time, it was 30 years ago, there wasn't really much going on as far as hockey businesses that, kind of had a wider scope than just hockey schools. So over my time as a player, I had went to a number of hockey schools and played some summer hockey when it was just basically starting when I was in junior. And so I had those kind of thoughts in my mind. I graduated from university and I was working in the private sector for a couple of years, and it wasn't something that I was overly passionate about. So I got into coaching and I got kind of familiar with the minor hockey situation. And I had a friend who asked me to run a clinic every weekend or every week, 1 day a week. And he started it, and he was just collecting money and paying the ice. And after a couple of weeks, he wanted to do 2 sessions, and then it was 3 sessions. And I was like, okay, now I'm taking up like one of my days here. So I thought, wow, there's some demand for this. And then that kind of was the springboard into how I started Pro Hockey Development, which was basically a spring hockey business with tournaments. And it was primarily, at the time I was much younger, it was based on training athletes that were trying to progress up the ladder to junior college or the National Hockey League.
How did you come up with the name of your business, Pro Hockey Developmental Group?
You know what? It was just I was writing some names down, and that one kind of stuck, and it lasted for 30 years, and I think it resonates with a lot of people. Obviously we were looking to, help guys achieve their players achieve their dreams, and that's where the pro hockey aspect came in. And then all of a sudden, like, just to study the development aspect, which I did from a number of different countries. I was a student of the game for many years. And then I guess the group was just more of a team environment. So that's how the name came about.
How's your playing career helped you with your business career?
I guess I got to meet some people that helped me along the way when I was a player. But I guess, like, if I had to do it all over again, business wise, it was just like trial by error. Basically, you go through your business, you make mistakes, you pick yourself up, you learn from your mistakes, and you keep going. What it did do, the hockey aspect, ever since I was little, it makes you competitive. So you get that competitive blood running through your veins, and it's something that you want, and you can take that into business when you're passionate about your business or coaching or training or anything. So I was passionate about hockey, and I learned that from being a player.
What does Pro Hockey Developmental offer?
A wide spectrum of programs. We do training for players of all ages. We do tours in Canada, the US, and Europe. We have many tournaments, a lot of destination events in Nashville, Vegas, California, just to name a couple. And then we do elite spring teams and AAA spring teams. So basically anything that you could want as a hockey player, we can facilitate for you.
What is it like to have your business international and domestic?
It's been great. We met a lot of great people, and now, with the advent of the internet and Zoom calls like these, you can really extend relationships with for the kids too. Like my son has been on a couple of tours and he's still friends with kids from Russia or Sweden or whatnot. But and it allowed us to see a number of different countries in the world and understand different cultures and different training techniques in some of the hockey powers outside of Canada and the U.S.
Do you only train amateur hockey players, or do you also train professional hockey players like the NHL and NWHL?
We used to train basically beginners right to pro. And now we do more of like the elite AAA training. I just started a new company called Highlight that is more geared to the training of NHL players through video and on ice. So yeah, we've done basically everything over the 30 years. We've adapted and changed as the times have as well. So yeah, I think we have like 150 to 200 players that have come through our programs that had played in the NHL. So
how's it been to have a expansion of the Road Hockey Developmental with the Highlight?
yeah, it's been great. I mean, the Highlight program was something that I thought about for years. It's a scalable program that's on the internet, scalable through all languages and all sports. And it picks up some of the, I guess, the micro pieces of training that the pro hockey is gotten away from. So we were more of the macro and the travel and the tours and teams and whatnot. So it's just filled a void that probably was missing, and also gives an online presence and a reach that's much greater than just being in an area or traveling to an area, because as you know, the internet, you're able to reach basically anybody in the world. So
Can you talk about, of course, the Nashville Brick series and what that is?
yeah, that was an idea that we started probably six or 7 years ago. And it was just, again, it was an idea for destination tournaments in North America. So we have one in New York, called the Big Apple. We have our Nashville Music City tournament, and we've got our Vegas tournament, and we've got our Surfs Up in California, and I think we've added a couple more too as well. So we're partnered with a hockey business out of Boston that's been Junior Bruins, Chris Masters, that's been around forever. And it was basically an extension of the Brick tournament, where all the top, teams from around North America would come to play. And then the people wanted that similar type of competition after the Brick, and kind of facilitated that with a number of events through all different age groups.
Can you talk about, of course, your Brewer Pro hockey spring tournament, the Shootout?
Yeah, the Shootout, I believe it's the largest tournament in North America right now. Again, we started that, must have been 15 years ago now. Actually started it out at Burlington, and it's growing each year. We basically use every rink that we can in Toronto, every ice pad. And we've had Bauer as a corporate sponsor for, I think, basically since the inception of the tournament. So it's been something that has grown and continues to grow, and it provides competitive hockey, elite AAA and AAA for kids of all ages. So basically, I think we start at 7 or 8 year olds right up to 15, 16-year-olds. So.
What is it like to put together tournaments like that?
It's a lot of work. So we have a staff. We had a staff of about, I guess, 7 or 8 people that were right before COVID. Obviously, with COVID, we laid off. We were down to like 3 people at the end of that. So that's like basically, it's a good question, because it's not something that you can just do overnight. It's a full year event, and you start planning it basically the day after the other tournament that the previous year ended.
What are some of the things that you have had it to adapt with due to COVID?
Having no rinks was in Canada, not being able to play, the different rules with the size of the teams that you're allowed to have compete, and the amount of kids you can have on the ice, and then with the social distancing, not having fans in the rink, and just having one contingency plan after the other, because the government would change the rules phase to phase. So there was a lot of work that went into things that actually never came to fruition because of the COVID situation in Ontario. But having said that, you learn from that and you diversify your business and you change things. So if something like this were to happen again, you'd be better prepared to deal with it.
Of course, with the COVID situation and having you be in Canada and the United States, how difficult was it to balance? Some people couldn't travel across the border.
Yeah, well, I was building a rink in Bahamas, so after Christmas, I went to to Nassau, so we were there for basically 3.5 months. So I was kind of out of Ontario when the big shutdown or the lockdown came down. So I was able to keep busy working on that project. But yeah, it's been basically almost impossible to travel back and forth, and it's just like every time you did, you had to quarantine for 2 weeks, or if you did, or if you could. So it wasn't something that we did. We just made the one trip there for the business, and luckily it was a great location, and the weather was perfect every day. So we kind of got a little bit away from the grind that was going on here in the middle of winter, not really being able to do anything.
What is it like to have a course hockey in the Bahamas?
Well, it's never been done, so time will tell. But again, I believe in the destination event and the family experience. So we're building a one pad with a high end restaurant. There's a lot of NHL guys that live there, and high income individuals and celebrities that wanted to get involved in it. So we basically built a one pad rink with eight, or we're in the process of, with 8 dressing rooms, and then an NHL, / celebrity dressing room, so people can, come there and train in the summer. So it's going to have a lot of tournaments will be going on, and a lot of events, as opposed to, a Toronto rink where the people that actually are from the area are utilizing it. There's not a big hockey market there. There's a lot of expats that will get a little league going, and we're going to start with the development league for the locals there, and probably tie some public skating in with the cruise ships and some on ice bumper cars and stuff like that. We've been very creative, working through our pro forma. So I think it's going to be a highly successful and kind of a unique opportunity for people that want to travel to a Caribbean destination and still be able to play hockey.
Of course, with the Bahamas, is the rink outdoors or is it indoors?
Well, the rink's indoors. It's too hot there, so it's like it's a solar. We have a solar roof. Collect our own water there as well, because obviously the water is a high sediment and salt and whatnot. So yeah, it's a one pad, but because of the climate, the temperature and whatnot, there's a lot of things that we had to do, and we had to rely on some of our partners that have built rinks in Florida and Tampa Bay and the Miami area.
What are some of your future plans for the Pro Hockey Developmental Group?
We would continue to expand it, to grow it, probably get more involved in winter events. We're currently with the Highlight brand, branching out into, again, some destination events in the winter. And my kids now are starting to graduate from school, so probably pass more of the training. They're both, one's really strong in the video and the other is strong on the development part of it. So probably grow it with, continue to grow with both those two individuals.
What advice would you have somebody looking to start their own hockey developmental group?
I would say first and foremost, nothing happens overnight, and people, I probably invested in it heavily for 2 years and never took a cent out. I had a store and a training facility at that time. Lots of hard work, and if it's not your passion and you're not prepared to do it 24/7, then probably not get into it. But for me, it was always a great experience. I met a ton of great people, just had some tremendous times all over the world. So it's rewarding, but you got to be prepared to roll up your sleeves and work at it, because it's a long grind to get it to where it is today, but it's 30 years. So that's incrementally, step by step.
That's wonderful. Where can my listeners find, of course, the Pro Hockey Developmental Group on social media, and if you have a website?
Yeah, so our website's prohoc.com, prohoc.com, and we're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as well.
Thank you again, Lindsay Hoffler, for your interview, and best of luck in your future with the Pro Hockey Developmental Group.
Thank you, Brandon, and good luck and enjoy the summer. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again for your interview, and best of luck.
Take care.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.